High notes do get harder with age. This is not a myth. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But here's what I want you to hear. A lot of range loss singers feel is not just getting old. It's coordination slipping and muscles that have been stopped being asked to do what high notes now require. But the best part is, this is trainable. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what actually changes as we age, what you can realistically expect from your high notes, and a few exercises you can start today to get more of that upper range back safely. Let's start with something simple that you can feel right now. First, just say woo at a comfortable speaking pitch. Now, take that gentle woo and we're going to glide up like a little siren and then back down. Woo! Did you feel a spot where it suddenly got tight or thin or like it just didn't want to go higher? Maybe it cracked or the sound faded away. If that happened, that's your voice saying, this is where things have changed. What we're going to do now is look at why this happens. And it's not to scare you, but it's so you can stop guessing and stop worrying and start working with the voice you actually have today. To understand high notes as we get older, we have to stop thinking in terms of just simple muscles, one or two muscles that are controlling pitch. It's actually a system where everything affects everything. To keep this simple, we're going to think of the system in three parts: the hinge, the space, and the engine. First, the hinge. There's a small joint in your larynx. It's called the cricothyroid joint. And you can think of it like a tiny hinge that lets part of your voice box tilt forward. When this tilts, it actually stretches and thins your vocal folds. That's how we get higher pitch. And when we're younger, that hinge moves pretty freely. But as we age, just like our knees and shoulders, the joint gets a bit stiffer. The cartilage becomes more bone-like. It doesn't freeze, but that tilting motion can definitely be less free and easy. On top of that, the vocal folds themselves become less elastic. They don't ripple and stretch quite as readily. So it can take more air pressure just to get a clear high note out. This leads to more stress and strain. So if your very top notes feel like the ceiling has come down, this hinge plus the stiffening of the vocal folds is a big part of the story. Second is the space. This is everything above our vocal folds, our soft palate, the tongue, the shape of your throat, the vocal tract. All of this creates the resonating space. And this space either supports your notes and makes them feel stable, or it can make them feel like you're balancing on a shaking tightrope just about to fall off, which causes tension. As we get older, this system can lose flexibility as well. The soft palate may not lift quite as strongly or as high. The tongue and the jaw can get a little stiffer. Even the walls of the throat, the vocal tract, don't shape as easily. You've probably felt this. A high note that used to ring now just feels dull, shaky. It just won't lock in. That's not just your vocal folds struggling. That's the space around the sound, your resonant space. It's not doing as much to help your singing. Then there's the engine, your breath system. With age, our ribs don't expand as freely. Our elasticity of the lungs changes. That steady, easy air pressure that you can maintain in your 20s, it's not quite as easy or automatic at 65 or 70. For high notes, this means the air feeding the sound can be less consistent. So even if the vocal folds can still make the pitch, it doesn't feel as stable. When you put all this together, a hinge and folds that feel stiffer, the acoustic space that's less responsive, and the breath engine that's less consistent, of course the high notes feel different. And that's why I have to truthfully tell you, a 70-year-old is not going to have the same top range they had at 25. That's biology. But it's not the whole story. If you'd like to go into the full deep dive, I cover this in my best-selling book, The Mature Singer's Guidebook. It walks you through my 6-step system to revitalize the aging voice, and you can download it for free. The link is in the description. Now, let's talk about what you can realistically expect from your high notes going forward. First, there will be high notes at the very top that don't feel like they did 30 years ago. There may be a few notes you're not going to get back, but so much of the loss that singers feel is not simply the aging process. It's coordination. It's the end result of avoiding those notes for years because they felt scary. It's pushing up our chest voice because, well, that used to work. It's carrying extra tension in the tongue, the neck, and the jaw because we try and force the voice. This is the part we can work on. With the right approach, a good portion of your lost range can come back. Not because we are somehow reversing time, but because we retune the system that you have now. Let's do that. As you do these exercises, be gentle and curious. Don't force, don't try to prove anything. We're going to start with the hinge. Let's go back to that woo that we did at the beginning. We're going to keep it nice and light, like you're a friendly ghost. Woo! Glide it up and down, keeping it gentle, soft, and smooth. Woo! You're not blasting into a big, heroic high note. We're just reminding this tilting system, hey, this is how you move. We're starting to get range of motion back. If you feel yourself wanting to push, back off the volume. Think of it more like stretching a body joint in yoga rather than struggling with too much weight at the gym. Do this for a minute or two. It's small, easy sirens. You're giving your voice permission to move. Next, we'll help the vocal folds start vibrating more easily. This is where we use straw exercises. So if you have a straw, grab it. If not, you can round your lips like you're drinking through a straw. I like to use a straw and water. This is the Dr. Vox. It's essentially a container that has a straw with water. First, we're going to blow a little air through. So I get the bubbles going. Then we add sound. And as you do this, you'll likely notice that the sound starts smoothing out on its own. It's easier to produce. This is because the back pressure from the straw takes some of the workload off of your vocal folds. And this is especially helpful now because the tissue is not quite as springy as it used to be. We're just going to glide up and down in a small range. If it starts to feel effortful, lighten up. If the straw's in water and it feels like too much effort, don't have the straw go as deep. The goal here is ease. And as you begin to feel this ease, you can begin to stretch how far you go. This is wonderful for your voice. And remember, don't push into high notes. Even if that kind of worked for you when you were younger, it was never ideal, and it certainly doesn't age well. So with that in mind, we're going to, instead of attacking high notes from below where we can pull up too much weight, we're going to sneak in from above. Pick a note just above where you want to normally belt strongly. And start that note lightly on gi or gu. And then we'll slide down into a comfortable range. Gi, foo. You can also do this on a simple descending scale. I love this one. I don't come heavy into my bottom voice. I don't. So we have this nice release top note, and we bring this heady sensation and coordination down. And finally, we're going to do light target touches. Take a note that used to be in your range, but now just feels a bit iffy. Don't go to the absolute top of your range. We can take a gi, gu, or ga and just touch the note. Think of it like tapping, not punching. So here. Ga, ga, gu, gu, gi, gi. And it's not a pure falsetto. Gi, gi. It's got a little cry in it. Ga, ga, gu, gu, gi, gi. So it has some body. Now, if that causes you to get tight, then go ahead and make it very, very light and falsetto. What we're doing is we're teaching our nervous system. This is where this note lives now. We can't force or push our way into this note anymore. As it gets comfortable, you can start to let the note have a little more intensity and energy, but it's always calm. You're never jamming up and pushing it. Ga, ga, gi, gi. Not ga, ga. No. So yes, high notes do get harder with age. Your voice is changing like the rest of the body. It's a different voice than you had at 25, but by no means are your high notes over. Your voice still has room to grow. Start gently moving the hinge. Get the vocal folds to stretch. Use your resonance more precisely and stop pushing. You can still sing high in a way that feels expressive, musical, and safe. Again, if you'd like to go deeper into this, you can download my book, The Mature Singer's Guidebook. In the description, just click the link. And if you would like ongoing support, classes, and coaching with a community of singers walking the same path, check out VoiceSchool.com. I'd love to meet you there. In the meantime, do better singing, and we will talk soon. You take care.